Hi everyone, I'm Zach with the Money Channel, and I think it's best that we dive into it. As an overview, today we're listening to a founder who has taken a brand from 5 to 7 figures profitably. They have explained how they have worked in e-commerce as a fractional brand owner, consultant, and they have a software company around data collection designed for the Shopify ecosystem, working with various brands from mid 6 figures to 8 figures a year. So here they've given us a pretty full-on breakdown of their story. The post is really detailed, so we're going to summarize most of it. Of course, you can read the full post if you want to. Starting out, the e-commerce landscape currently is dominated by a reliance on digital marketing. DTC brands are spending more on advertising than the cost of their product. This is driving up prices for consumers and making it difficult for small brands to grow without taking outside investment. Email marketing is often touted as a solution for retention, but even well-optimized ads often have high CAC that may not be recouped through the first-time purchase. Rising costs of goods, shipping, and inflation all causing cash flow crunches for many small brands, particularly in CPG, so the current system is benefiting monopolies. Then point 2, the e-commerce industry in 2023 is inefficient, brands spending a significant portion of their revenue on advertising, only achieving modest revenue on ad spend. There are several points in the customer journey that impact the conversion rates, but often these points are not aligned or optimized effectively. So to improve efficiency, brands need to focus on attracting a high quality audience and tailoring their copy and content to match what their audience is actually looking for. Point 3 is the recommended rule of thumb. Having a product with at least a 5 to 6 times margin. Suggested framework for brands includes offering a reduced price on a hero product through paid acquisition channels, collecting the data during sign-up, and automating email campaigns. The focus should be on data and understanding the audience to adjust the acquisition strategy for repeat revenue, and then to be profitable, paying attention to the CAC to first purchase average order value ratio. Of course, the goal is to get the best margins to get the business started. Now, this founder has shared the exact pop-up strategy they use to collect usable data for leveraging into their strategy. This one, not going to summarize. If you're a small company, multiple tools will cost you around $400 to $600 a month. If you're more than $10 million in revenue, multiple tools will cost you over $4,000 a month. The following framework assumes that you've realized that you should be using multi-steps forms with live data collection to collect intent data during a pop-up offer beyond just an email or a phone number. Not sure what these are? Just Google multi-step forms intent data and click on the top non-sponsored post. Statistically, 50% of people will never open your email, and emails aren't free, so at least trade for some of the valuable intent data from everyone that subscribes. The below uses pop-ups. Some people hate pop-ups, but they work really well. Find the highest intent purchasers and are a treasure trove of data collection prior to a purchase. Whatever discount you're providing is made up for by the amount of data you can collect and leverage globally across your entire marketing stack. It's not a reduction in revenue, but an investment into a higher conversion rate and optimized advertising. This is a really important mind shift to embrace. Odds are you're spending so much money on advertising and really not getting any real qualitative value out of it. Follow this framework. Strike the right balance between data collection, conversion, and customer experience through the pop-ups. Make them multi-step to collect data related to the customer journey as it matters to the customer. Make sure that you're trying these data points and combinations to things like revenues, orders, and conversion rates. For the homepage pop-up, clear offer 8 to 10 seconds after someone arrives. Landing page pop-up, 20 to 30% scroll, usually only targeted at your paid traffic. You can split test different offers based on the URL or UTM. Product page pop-up, 45 to 60 seconds after landing page. Depending on how you are sending traffic to this page, you can limit it to people having taken action on your homepage or landing page forms. For example, if visitor dismisses homepage or landing page form and not subscribe, show product page form. If not, then do not show. Thank you page embed or pop-up. Prefer pop-up from results. Embedded post-purchase survey or post-purchase pop-up with the same questions. This one has a higher response rate. A quiz, standalone page after someone clicks on a link or a button. Do not ask for an email. Do not just present products at the end. Instead, send people to a landing page with the product results with context as to why they were selected, offering alternatives at the end. Then the quiz follow pop-up for people after they take the quiz. 60% scroll tied to the landing page with the quiz results. Same offer as before, triggered only if quiz is completed. Reduce the questions to complement ones asked in the quiz. By default, to get to this page, the quiz has to be completed. Yes, this could be considered a lot of pop-ups, but people will only see one if they subscribe, and at max they see 3 only if they hang out on a product page for a really long time. The double tap on the product page makes the average business an additional 18 to 20% in revenue through signups and averages up to 40% subscription to conversion rates, so it's super high intent data collection. When we do data modeling, we only use the signup candidate forms, we do not use quiz or post-purchase as they are both pre-purchase trend related during the discovery phase, and post-purchase is too limited to actually show anything more than trend data. Data on the upfront side is more reliable. Then part 4, why retention is really secondary acquisition and how to treat it appropriately. You can experience a decline in revenue if customers don't make repeat purchases. Many retention strategies involve offering discounts, which can be a successful way to encourage customers to return. One effective method to increase revenue is to automate the customer journey to unlock potential revenue from customers who have already converted. In today's society, discounts are often a major factor in purchasing decisions, so it's important to strategically offer them while considering profit margins. It's important to understand your customer cohorts based on their purchasing intent in order to optimize repeat purchase offers and maximize revenue. While some customers make repeat purchases within days, others may take months or never return at all. As a general rule, focus on engaging customers in the first 45 days after their initial purchase through content and education to encourage repeat purchases. Beyond that time frame, position offers strategically to encourage additional purchases and pay attention to unit economics to ensure profitability. However, of course, using discounts as a primary method of encouraging repeat purchases can have downsides. If customers are trained to wait for sales or discounts, they may ignore regular offers and only purchase during special events, which can increase CAC and or attract low quality customers. Additionally, if discounts are the primary motivator for repeat purchases, it may not be true retention. Therefore, it's important to balance discount strategies with a focus on long-term profitability and customer satisfaction. Revenue is not the same as profit, and it's crucial to consider both factors when designing a retention strategy. And then finally, before the Ask Me Anything, there's this founder's take on modern e-commerce. E-commerce brands that stay digital only should grow via 2 channels maximum, Facebook or Google, to between $2 million to $8 million a year in revenue and look to sell private equity or holding company. It's a sprint that, with the right approach and funding, can be done in less than 4 years with a valuation of between 1.8 to 3 times depending on your margins. Without funding, it will take slightly longer and you'll have to forego a salary. On the low end, this nets you out between $3.6 to $24 million for your work. With a small team of 4 people, you can all walk away with an average of between $225K per year to as much as 1.5 mil a year. That is if it's all perfectly executed and all the work is done internally. The trick here is that the value is 100% in the exit for most e-commerce businesses. During heavy growth, the majority of all profits have to be reinvested into inventory and marketing. There is a trend to pay attention to though, the rise of the influencer and celebrity-led brands. Increasingly, creating a product isn't the hard part, marketing the product is the hard part. By and large, most products are completely commoditized at this point and you'll have knockoffs popping up in a matter of months, but brands take years to develop. You're not Ryan Reynolds. If he's reading this, even he'll tell you that. You're not getting paid millions of dollars for movies and being paid by studios to be front and center promoting yourself. The amount of bought for press that allows celebrities to create successful businesses in spaces like booze, which is largely all the same at the end of the day, shouldn't be overlooked. It's all marketing today, cost-effective marketing and getting your product into hands at the most affordable price with a quality product that people look to purchase more of. KPIs are largely outdated in today's marketing environment. ROAS shouldn't be mixed in a fixed time frame. CTR is the quality, not the quantity. CAC is about narrowing it down to acquiring the first time customer. Average order value, separate this by first purchase versus returning purchase. Micromanaging an ad account will not provide results, but taking a holistic look at your entire customer journey can provide outsized advantages. If you can understand the quality of the audience, then you can influence CAC. If you can influence CAC, then you can build sustainable growth models. If you can build that, you can build a profitable business. If you follow the steps above and you meet the criteria, you'll know inside of 90 days if your business can be successful. On the topic of data, most people are not collecting the right data. It's become something people check a box to rather than properly leverage. Is a complicated topic that isn't widely spoken about. So enlarged data is incredibly important. And with that said, let's have a look at the Ask Me Anything. Damn, if I put in just half the work you do, I might be an 8-figure marketer. Well written, and if anyone is reading the above thinking it's crap, it isn't. This is exactly how it shakes out. It's getting harder. You need data, you need capital, you need a margin, you need product and market fit and traction. And after all that, it's still difficult and you have to keep iterating. Attribution is still gross. Monopolies, Fortune 500 companies have dictated the entire paid landscape, one to send a huge FU to Geico, and we're at the mercy of the next ad platform giving giving us teaser traffic, TikTok, then rug pulling for higher CPMs, Facebook. It's a vicious cycle and it all sucks when you're getting started. It's crazy because there's a severe echo chamber in e-commerce about how people should do things, but after being in the space for too long at this point, we've systematically disproved just about every current assumption, all through intent data modeling and strict, and I mean strict, variable control testing. I appreciate your comment, you're 100% right about teaser traffic too. It's the big shift, then there's all sorts of experts running ads on it like moths to flame, then it's back to being rug pulled. Yeah bro, but that doesn't get clicks on videos or sell courses. The harsh reality of this life, performance marketing, direct response, customer acquisition, is that it's infinitely hard at scale. Anyone can sell a couple of something, try scaling it. See what happens to your 30% margin when Facebook continuously goes up, forces you to go broad because you're in a special category or you lost detailed targeting options. Or when you were collecting emails for $1 to $1.50 and then all of a sudden, thanks to your newfound 6 out of 10 blended quality score, you're now paying $2.35 per click with a CVR of like 15% to opt in. Sweet. So yeah, I'm with you on this. I have a feeling a lot of what you said will fall on deaf ears, but hopefully people save this post and come back to it because it's going to save people a lot of headache. I've been saying the same things for a few years now, no one is listening. This is more of a test to see if I could broaden my echo chamber audience and spot anyone that understood what I was talking about. 2012 to 2017 emails were like 25 cents per. Today, most brands non-giveaways ones are paying between $5 to $20 per email and still not collecting data relevant to the customer journey. This whole craze of you have to collect a phone number is what really kills me. We just ran long-term isolated cohort testing on this and it dropped conversion rate, AOV, and revenue for a brand which versus the A/B test is a 20% revenue swing for not an inconsequential amount, all because phone number list growth was a KPI. This whole industry is a mess right now of people not fully aware of where things are headed with costs and what's necessary to actually build something sustainable. Too many brands people look up to IPO'd and are down 80% or more, or have already been sold back to PE for pennies on the dollar. Allbirds is down to $187 million market cap. For context, they raised $202.5 million in funding. I just don't understand what people are looking at from a macro perspective anymore. It's a giant reset taking place coupled with a more truly global economy. You can order something from China and get it inside of 5 days now. Competition is about 100 times what it used to be 10 to 15 years ago. When you throw pie into a funnel, that's not expected. It's a roadblock worse than a barrier because it generates abandonment. I haven't tested it so methodically like you have, I just know when I see my CVR drop by points, I'm not doing that again. Oh, another interesting thing, I have a ton of experience in lead gen and I was actually proven wrong on a hypothesis again, healthcare. It turns out that on intake, i.e. type form of any kind, putting the email first before any question resulted in a massively higher conversion rate from impression. I never would have agreed to that test if the partner I worked with wasn't already running it at scale. The key was the offer though. People will jump through whatever hoops if you put it in front of them, and by putting pie first, they just said, F it, I want what's on the other side. Regarding IPOs, no doubt, Allbirds always seemed like a money grab IPO to me anyway. T-Doc is another one that got rocked. I expect more to follow, so many bloated zombies out there. I don't mess with ecom like you, so I don't have near the knowledge, but I've always been curious, how are brands competing with Amazon as a platform? A few years back, I managed marketing for a medical device that was listed on the marketplace and had DTC, but it sucked, and I couldn't imagine trying to compete with the paid marketplace volume using other ad platforms. It was unreal how much traffic you could drive in 2018 from cheap paid traffic on Amazon, yet I couldn't imagine losing that margin either, because in most cases they were using Facebook ads. It feels completely lose-lose at scale. Pie requests for things brands don't need are dumb. Saw a form the other day, first name, last name, email, birthday, all required. You don't need that to sign up to order something of a clothing website. Ironically, phone number wasn't required, but there was a space for it. Leading with the pie is key though. It's the intent marker, the commitment that's the largest at least it should be. We lead with all of our forms. We own software that does multi-step forms with live data collection after every step with the email capture. Once committed, they usually finish the form 92% of the time. We originally expected 70%, which was what we were seeing with Typeform, but now it doesn't matter. Still get the email, no need to hit submit at the end of the long form. Amazon is a tough beast. I've worked with brands that sell on Amazon and run marketing for brands where Amazon was a close partner and bought stock directly from us. I think I'd almost prefer the latter right now. That way, I'd be fixed at around 30% rather than now some brands are up to 50%. Their ad network is poised to overtake the other major ones inside the next few years, so now everything on Amazon is pay to play too. Crazy times. I remember social media marketing back in 2009. It was a super hot space, but like you said, organic still worked back then. Honestly, I just see things getting tougher. Amazon wins either way. You build a successful product, they copy it cheaper, you need to sell on Amazon, they make you pay for ads, then they take a cut for distribution. It just seems like more and more of a rigged game, to be honest. What What a post! This is the kind of thing Reddit is for. Thanks for taking the time to write this up. Admittedly, it's quite long, but entirely useful. As someone not particularly in the space, it's interesting to consider how some of our online aspects, restaurant, relate to some of the points you made. No problem. At the end of the day, business, no matter the industry, revolves around a few core elements: creation, distribution, and utility. Creation is fairly straightforward. You make something, you hope it's enjoyable. Distribution, being able to get the word out and convince enough people to come in and give your products a try. Utility, this is entirely the perceived value of the item purchased, which is entirely in the mind of the end consumer. You can work hard on creation, but without distribution, things become a lot harder than they need to be. I run an e-commerce business with an annual revenue of around 5 million. Your figures just seem weird. We get 15 to 20 ROAS from Google Ads, which sounds much better than what you're getting. However, margins are slim, 25%, and costs are high, so it's not super profitable. It feels like a completely different world to what you're describing. What say we combine my 20 ROAS with your crazy margins? Are your Google Ads bidding on your name? This is the leading case for inflated ROAS from Google. My stats for ROAS were looking at Facebook. Sounds like something is amiss. Your numbers reminded me of when agencies would average in retargeting ads with top of funnel ad campaigns. Yeah, those margins are really too small to operate on unless the product was a high ticket item which aligns with your super good returns but low profitability. No, we do not bid on our name. Can't stand when agencies do that to inflate figures. Average sale value is 280. Most of the high performing ads are Google Shop PMAX. Makes sense on the high ticket price, tells me that it's something people are searching for and you're fairly established for those search terms or have a bit of a reputation. POAS is your issue. Profit on ad spend. Just another reason why ROAS is a terrible metric. The majority outline I presented is for items that have a low AOV and are in super competitive markets. Always happy to take a look though. I concur, this is an excellent post. I read so much trash on this subreddit, but I read yours with eyes wide open. As a digital marketer, I learn a lot from this, and I have a successful ecom business that I always wonder where the exit is. Useful context you added there. How do you know when or if you sell when it's still growing year on year? You want to sell when you have growth happening and profit margins are stable with growth. Year on year growth is the goal, but also maintaining margins. You don't want to sell now because money is expensive right now, so offers will be low, especially if you're selling a non-essential purchase in case we do slide into a deeper recession. For right now, if things are running smoothly, lifestyle it up with controlled growth and margins until interest rates readjust themselves. That will free up more capital for an acquisition. Rule of thumb though is that most businesses that are under $10 million in revenue are really good targets for acquisition. If you go beyond that, you better be taking away market share from an incumbent, else you run the risk of the incumbent market leader pushing into your category. With the IPOs for a lot of e-commerce companies down more than 85% in the great readjustment, the play for e-commerce right now is to get your profit as high as possible, your systems are as automated as possible, and maintain controlled growth. There's been a huge pullback in the space as the unit economics do not make as much sense as they did back from 2012 to 2015. The other acquisition bubble popped in late 2020, early 2021. I think there's one important principle in this post that every marketer must take. If you're doing marketing, no matter in what industry you are and whether it's for your own business or as an employee, marketing is dominated by the platforms Meta, Google, TikTok, etc. They dictate everything with their prices and rules, and your success or failure is very dependent on them. No matter how good you will be, you'll always be a small suckerfish attached to a whale, and when that whale slaps its tail, you're going to feel it. Those platforms are always going to take a huge part of your money, and they are complete black boxes with total control over who sees what. I will say though that there are ways to leverage those platforms for success that most people aren't doing at all. The platforms are still going to be better at finding you an audience than other alternatives, but advertising existed before them and will exist after them. The problem is that we're in an attention economy and they're just beating the pants off other things for attention. People don't get newspapers anymore. I think the platforms are more powerful than people even know. To that point though, in e-commerce, we've seen a ton of new attribution platforms come out to help you optimize your ads when fundamentally they have zero actual input back into the algos of the platforms. Some small team is not going to outperform the dozens of big data PhDs that work building algorithms to improve the lead money making assets of these companies. It's just not going to happen. There is a big difference between people relying on a platform for sales versus leveraging a platform for market research and audience building. This is part of the equation that's missing.